I've tasked myself to see how good I can get at Vampire Saviors in just 1 month. This is a game I've always enjoyed spectating. The cast always seems so interesting, with each of them being based on some sort of monster or folklore, and the gameplay just moved at this breakneck speed. It seemed like a fun yet daunting game to experience. Mix this with many people crediting this game for inventing the anime fighting game genre, and the game had some big expectations to fulfill. And with how long I procrastinated learning this game, I was worried that this game wouldn't live up to the expectations or the pedestal that I've already put it on. So, enough procrastinating. I'm going to dedicate the next 4 weeks of my free time to learn this game. I'm going to dive in head first and see what happens. Towards the end, I'm going to try my hand at some tournaments as they pop up and report on those runs. As always, if you like this sort of fighting game content, make sure to like and subscribe. It helps out the channel a ton, and we also have a growing Discord linked down in the description below. Alright, let's get into this. The first week, I needed to find a character I liked. Sasquatch was the character that stood out to me at this time. He had a relatively straightforward game plan, fast, hard to react mix-up game. I just needed to get comfortable doing short hop, and on a leverless controller, it didn't seem like too bad of an input. It's just double forward back. But what was hard to get used to was just the raw speed of this game. I saw that input and thought to myself, people think this is hard? And well, it really was. My brain wasn't quite wired for this game yet. I was trying to play reactively, trying to play somewhat slowly, and it just resulted in me being opened up or pressured, and then my health bar was just gone in a flash. I quickly found more success in just kind of like mashing out a general game plan and hoping for the best. But as I kept playing more and more, grinding out short hop shenanigans and training mode, there was an itching feeling I had in the back of my head. I don't know if I really liked Sasquatch, but as the end of the week approached, I was just telling myself, everyone else in this game is probably going to be more difficult, or it's just the speed of the game I need to get used to, and just keep at it. I think Sasquatch is the character for me, so I decided to stick with him. At the start of week 2, I didn't stick with Sasquatch. I really hated short hopping. It was something I just didn't enjoy doing. It felt more annoying than satisfying when I pulled it off. So Sasquatch is going into the trash. Yeah, he's a strong character, and I'll probably be moving down the tier list if I pick someone else, but I don't really care. If I don't enjoy short hopping, then I just don't enjoy this character. It's his defining characteristic. So needless to say, week 2, I started out in a character crisis. Going up and down the roster, I gathered a list of characters that might suit me. On this list was Boletta, Dimitri, Lilith, QB. I tried out Boletta and I was immediately hit with the difficulty of scoring a knockdown. Boletta has a very short sweep, so it's not the most reliable thing to get a knockdown with. If you wanted to chain into it, you really couldn't chain more than like one move beforehand, so you ended up having to use like 2 lights linked together to get something called a renda bonus, so you're just plus enough to be able to link into a medium punch, which then would allow it to be special cancelable into a basket combo, then you could score a knockdown. And that was not an easy feat to overcome, and it was kind of just right in the forefront of her gameplay, and I didn't really want to tackle that. I'm just being honest. Still getting used to this game, having to get a tight link combo to do anything really meaningful was just, it wasn't something I wanted to tackle at this time. So I moved on. Next, I tried Dimitri. Maybe his Shoto-like toolkit could ease me into the game a little bit. His Dragon Punch move, called Demon Cradle, also seemed pretty funny. It's a DP with only 1 frame of landing lag, which can lead to some funny like DP spam shenanigans, and then if you Kara cancel the move, you can just farm a bunch of meter. It seemed kind of fun on paper, but it wasn't really hooking me, so that just left me with QB and Lilith. And let's say this, QB was a very close second. I didn't really have a reason I didn't pick her, but after playing Lilith, I quickly found the character I think I was going to finish this challenge with. Week 3 was all about getting my footing with this character. While she does have some execution barriers I need to overcome, I was able to just move normally, get some chains in, run some basic neutral, all pretty fast. The first thing I wanted to tackle was learning how to establish pressure. Lilith is a character with tons of plus on block normals, resulting in her ability to really lock down the opponent and run some sort of like strike throw game pretty effectively. So that's what I wanted to focus on first. but simultaneously her largest hurdle is using a move called Luminous Illusion, or more commonly referred to as just LI. This is a special move that has a non-traditional input, but also breaks almost all the restrictions this game has when it comes to canceling out of a normal. In this game, if you perform a chain of normals, you'll be locked out of canceling subsequent normals into a special. Hence why earlier when we were talking about Boletta, you have to link into her medium punch because that enables her to then cancel that into basket. But these different specials, called command supers, can be canceled into from any normal move, even if it's been chained into. In Lilith's case, this is done by inputting light punch, forward, light kick, heavy punch. It's an awkward input, but once you get comfortable comboing into it, this character's damage skyrockets. But for right now, I'm really just trying to get used to it. So comboing into it has proven to be a massive challenge. I've been able to somewhat do it in training mode, but very rarely have I been able to pull it off in a match. There are some tricks and ways to think about the move that helps you input it faster, but this is definitely a barrier I need to overcome if I ever hope to be anywhere close to being considered decent at this game. But as this week progressed, I felt like I was making some pretty decent progress. That's when I noticed there was actually a beginners tournament happening online. And while at the end of this challenge I want to enter a true open bracket, I feel like a beginner's bracket could give me some valuable matches to review and maybe kind of gauge where I'm at currently. So here we are, 3 weeks in, and I'm entering my first tournament. I really had no idea what to expect. It was a beginner's tournament, so I did expect some people to be like around my level, but I've also entered beginner tournaments for other games where there's just absolute monsters in the bracket. Though this bracket was small, it only had 6 entrants, there was a lot of games to be played since it was broken into 2 parts. The first section was round robins, so I got to play everyone, so that was a total of 5 matches, and then everyone moved on to a double elimination bracket. So I got a ton of matches, and a huge plus about this event was there was 3 other people playing my character. So I got to see how other people approach the character at my level. Overall, I went 2-3 in the round robin and 2-2 in the double elimination. So basically right in the middle of the pack. Not bad for only being 3 weeks in, I thought. I saw some more aggressive players and some actually that played a lot more defensively. But most importantly, it just showed me glaring weaknesses in my play. First and foremost, I did not know how to deal with zoning. There was someone else on Lilith who I lost to who basically just camped behind Soul Flash, and I told myself, I got to try that. Maybe I can incorporate that. It really helped me round out my playstyle. Because, I mean, for the most part, I was just kind of holding forward and pressing buttons. And I thought, yeah, this game's fast, so I should be trying to be aggressive and fast. But it kind of showed me a different side of the character that I could kind of slow down the pace of neutral. And I ended up incorporating that in my kit, and it really helped out a ton. And overall, this tournament was a really good experience, and I had a ton of fun. Week 4 was rough, not going to lie, mainly because of 2 things. I was hyper-focusing on Luminous Illusion conversions, and was being really frustrated, feeling like I just couldn't handle the speed of the game. This LI stuff is brutal, and I really wanted to get it down by the end of this week, but if you're familiar with it, you'll know that that's quite the task, and it's a task I'd say I made very little progress on, despite being my primary focus. My performance and enjoyment of the game just took a massive nosedive, and my brain initially just went to, this game is just too fast. Every roadblock I've come across so far is just solved by inputting things faster. But I took a second and thought about this for a bit, and wanted to challenge this idea I was already presenting to myself as a fact. What if I tried to better control the pace of the matches? For the most part, I've been trying to play Lilith exclusively as a rushdown monster. But back in that beginner's tournament, I got bodied by someone on the same character who really took advantage of the slow, active hitbox of Soul Flash. So that's what I really tried to incorporate this week, and really tried to set the pace of matches more. And maybe play like a little bit more defensively and a little bit more lame. So after incorporating this, it felt like it worked a ton. I don't know if it was my opponents just approaching very poorly, or if this is actually a really good strategy. And to my surprise, I started enjoying the game again. Crazy what trying to play lame can do. I also shifted my mindset on LI combos. While it is an insanely strong tool in her arsenal, I was trying to force it when it obviously was not going to work. So I decided to still try to go for it every time I thought it could work, but if I didn't, that was fine. And by the end of this frustrating week, which was primarily due to my mindset slipping, I was enjoying the game once again. So that leaves the final 2 days of this challenge. I wanted to end this challenge on some sort of climactic event, and what better way to do that than a tournament? This one's not a beginner's one this time. One with some actual monsters in the bracket. While I'm obviously not going to win it or anything, if I could maybe win a match or just stand my own ground, I would find this a success. So Monday before the Moment Slice Monthly, I decided to nail down my game plan and try to figure out just how to approach a tournament environment in regards to my current skill set. So let's go over this tournament run. Spoiler alert, it kind of went fast. I was really nervous going into this tournament, not going to lie. I was going into my first round and I learned that my opponent actually played Jeddah, a character I've never even seen played before, and that got me a little bit worried. So I quickly skimmed his wiki page and tried to figure out like a quick game plan really quick. I saw that the character primarily played a keep away game, but also had some unreliable anti-airs, so I just thought, alright, I'll play aggressive, use a lot of jump heavy punch, and well, I lost the first game, but going right back into it, I was kind of just feeling out how much I had to respect wheel, and it ended up with me just kind of doing the same thing, but maybe like a little bit more aggressive, and at the end I ended up just ripping 2 raw LIs and was able to close out the second game in a win. Game 3, I started out with a pretty decent life lead, but I definitely got into my own head and I started playing really scared. This ended up with me just getting whittled down until it was just about even, and because I was playing very scared, I ended up getting hit with a few command grabs, which eventually led to me losing the set. Then, losers round 1, I just got bodied. It was a Sasquatch that was just able to smother me. I watched their winners round 2 set, and it was clear that this was a very proficient Sasquatch player. I attempted to keep them out using some soul flashes, and when they got in, I tried to use DPs to get them off of me, but it didn't work. During this match, I definitely could feel just how big of a difference this skill gap was. They were able to just get so much out of each opening and were able to like really establish their pressure and just keep things rolling, and I felt like my openings, I didn't really get much. A lot of returning to neutral, and they smothered me in neutral, so the set overall went pretty fast, resulting in the tournament going 0-2, but if I'm being honest, it didn't feel too bad. Like, the first set was really fun, it was close, and then the second set was just clear just how high the skill ceiling is in this game, and I learned a lot, and it was overall a really fun experience. I was hoping to at least go 1-2. I was putting like a lot of pressure on myself to perform at this tournament, so going 0-2 didn't feel great, but there's been people playing this for years, so 1 month is pretty hard to start getting tournament results with. But overall, I felt like I did pretty decent for the amount of time I've put in so far. So that just leaves me with my concluding thoughts and impressions on this game. After 1 month, I can safely say that time frame does not feel like enough to really fully say I've experienced this game, but I do think it still gives me enough time. I can give my impressions and thoughts on how it's felt so far, and well, it's been a little bit of a roller coaster. First and foremost, it took me a while to get used to the speed of this game. Whenever I ran into some sort of execution barrier, it felt like it was simply fixed by being a little bit faster. It's the reason I dropped Sasquatch. Short hopping was just really annoying, and having to spam it over and over again just wasn't really my jam. And while Lilith does have LI stuff, after a month I am still massively struggling with it, but in terms of speed of stuff like neutral, it definitely was overwhelming, but learning my character's tools and ways I can slow down my opponent or just the game in general, in this case Soul Flash, has really helped me out quite a bit. But outside of these specific things, I do really appreciate how simple the combo theory is in this game. As someone coming from games like Guilty Gear Plus R or Melty Blood, just having a quick and dirty combo sheet is really nice, but it still gives you a lot of opportunity to grind difficult and advanced tools that might be like a specific link route or character unique stuff. Each character's combo still feels very unique in that regard without being too complicated. Really, the whole roster is super interesting. Each slot has so much character to them in both their style and toolset, and while not every character might call to you, I'm sure there's at least one that really sticks out to you, either gameplay-wise or just aesthetically. Overall, I had sort of a rocky experience with the game and trying to get into it, but now that I'm 1 month in, I can safely say I really want to play more Vampire Savior. This game is a ton of fun. While some of the execution requirements have been frustrating, it's something that's sort of beginning to grow on me a little bit, and every other aspect of this game is absolutely top notch. You are definitely going to see me in Fight Cake lobbies after this video is up. So that wraps up the video. This is a different type of video format that I wanted to try out for a while now, and I'm glad to have been able to try it out on this game. It was overall a lot of fun. I do think maybe dedicating a full month to a video is kind of not quite the speed I want. I might try to take this similar style and condense it into a week so I can do weekly uploads. I get a little bit anxiety putting all my eggs in 1 month-long basket, so maybe doing some shorter week-long things is more up my speed and also allows me to kind of play around with other games. I was definitely burning myself out a little bit playing every day for a month, and I was definitely wanting to play some other stuff, but I felt obligated to play more vsav. But let me know what you think about this video. Is there anything you maybe could critique on it? Maybe some feedback? Would definitely appreciate it a ton. As always, drop a like and subscribe. It helps out the channel a ton. I also got a Discord link down in the description below. If that's something you're interested in, go check that out. We got a nice growing community. But as always, keep playing fighting games and have a good rest of your day.